My name's Robert Christopher Wayne Weathers. I live at 3102 Center Hill Road, Ector, Mississippi, 38841. I am under attack by what appears to be Scientology. From my experiences and from what I have observed, there's more space in the universe than humans can see. There are 11 dimensions. These dimensions reside within the particle itself. So the particles in which we are made of, there is more space inside of the particle. There are 11 dimensions. It appears to be something like inward expansion. So imagine the universe expanding inward. It comes out in another place. They call this the inverse. We have biology in this other place. So we have 11 dimensional biology. The particles in which we consist of have an inverse. There are 11 dimensions within us. You can consider our third dimension as a shell. We are just a shell for something else. We utilize this extra dimensional biology first while we were among the living to process energy, consumption, food for biological function, especially brain tissue and central nervous system tissue. That is where most of our feeling comes from. Our neurochemistry and our dopamine, our ability to feel it, they have feeling. Most of that comes from extra dimensional biology. And then we utilize it to have an afterlife. When we die, we live on. And we do something called turning around or raising. So we actually, our consciousness turns around. It goes into the inverse and faces the opposite direction of when we are living. So it is the opposite direction. So humans have 11 dimensional biology. We utilize this biology to have an afterlife. Scientology is the practice of utilizing this extra dimensional biology before we die. They remove it from themselves and they use technology and techniques to turn it into an upper dimensional vehicle. So this inverse biology, it presents itself in layers. As it grows out of us into the next dimensions, first it creates another biology, a three-dimensional biology. And then our energy transcends the next three dimensions and it puts a layer on top of this biology. And it does the same thing with the next three and the next three. So you wind up with a biology that has a core biology and then layers on top of that that consist of the next three dimensions. These Scientologists like to remove it from themselves, part of it or all of it or most of it. And they like to cut themselves along the dimensional layers. So they like to take their layers off. They wind up with three or four biologies in outer space, which they can utilize or turn into a vehicle. Okay, there is an entanglement property between our third dimension and our inverse, our inner dimensions. So if you remove a piece of your interdimensional biology, no matter how far away they take it from you, you are still in this biology. It is entangled. But you still experience it. Okay, once these Scientologists remove their extra dimensions and modify it, take the layers off, they can't function properly in this state. It is a dead biology. They have to utilize organs and tissues from other humans and other species in an attempt to make themselves whole again and function properly. So they take body parts from humans, or reptiles, or lizards, insects, and worms to modify their upper dimensional biology into a functioning biology. This only gets them part of the way. They lose the ability to create biochemical electricity whenever they do this. So they give themselves artificial stimulation. It's electricity, being harassed. They're breaking the law. So these people covet other people's body parts. Yes, they steal body parts from other people. They have stolen mine. First, for transplants, they forced me to assimilate 13 years ago. They got to witness me riding intellectual property. I am part Native American. I am Crazy Bird. I wrote Crazy Bird comics. I wrote the Environment Creation Agency. I wrote Divine Currency or Buffalo Dollars, Alien Bob, Bug Bob, and a lot of other stories. Yes, I'm a storyteller. I like doing it. So they became attracted to this and my psychology and my ability to write. So now they're trying to utilize it for themselves because they have the technology to do so. Scientologists need other people's biology to try to make themselves whole. So they can use other people's body parts for themselves. They're soul thieves, biological theft. So they have removed a lot of my brain tissue for transplant purposes. They want to attempt to gain my intelligence, my ability to create and write. Some of it they're using for surrogate purposes. So you can create a biology that is not yours out of other people's body parts and drive that biology. It's called a surrogate. And then some of it they're using to torture. So these people are extremely jealous and petty and violent. They don't want me to feel good in any way. I am very sick. So this morning I've suffered assault to my brain, my upper dimensional brain piece. They actually have my upper dimensional brains in their hands. They are assaulting it. I'm still in that brain piece. I'm still using it. So they assaulted brain tissue this morning because I was feeling okay. I was drinking my coffee, smoking my cigarette, and I was feeling okay. And I was starting to think about my comic books and stuff and writing a little bit in my head. And they became petty and jealous and assaulted my upper dimensional brain tissue. They don't want me to experience pleasure in any way. You can refer to my other videos for the whole story. Right now, I am recording what is happening at the moment. Yes, I'm sick. They have me on life support. Yes, I'm Crazy Bird. St. Carlo Whitco. I have a Facebook page, Robert Christopher Weathers. It has everything. I have a Facebook page called the Environmental Creation Agency. I have one called Crazy Bird Comics, Dimensional Terrorism, Interdimensional Life, One Nation, and several others. I have a lot of Facebook pages. I haven't been spending much time with because I'm preoccupied with this stuff. I am very sick. Last night they gave me nerve damage. They have my upper dimensional nerves. It's their Dr. Kevorkian messing with people's body parts down here. I'm just recording y'all's criminal behavior. So they're upper dimensional biologies. They have to use other people's body parts to make themselves whole and function properly again. They make a few alien forms. They make a lizard form or lizard people using lizard body parts. They make insectoids or bug people using bug body parts. And then they make worm people using worm body parts. is they damage my neurons, my upper dimensional neurons. I was using them, I guess. I do this every morning. It's my morning routine. I wake up and I come sit by the heater. I drink my coffee and smoke a cigarette. And I just think. It's my it's my it's my time to think about things. Wake up. I do it every day. And I usually write a little bit or think about it. I am missing brain tissue. I feel sick. From my experience, our extra dimensional biology is utilized while we are living. Cocoa beans. It's okay, baby. They are assaulting my animals too. They don't want me to feel pleasure. Yes, it feels good to think. I'm very sick. I'm very sick. You're breaking the law. Get away from me. Yes, you can. They are addicted to me. This is forced assimilation and kidnapping and exploitation. They got to witness, read my mind, how it works. Yes, I'm a genius. I have a high IQ and I function well. I have developed my psychology uh, purposefully. I purposefully engage in creating my psychological conditioning and I exercise my brain. It creates a good psychology and they have become attracted to it. Yes, and it helps me create and write literature. Scientologists kidnap people, they exploit people, they hurt people and take what they want from people. Yes, because they can. I'm sick. Say Beth from MPB is trying to line up my neurons. She didn't do that, by the way. It was fine. She's going to try to get away with it. I'm very sick. Body thieves. That's what Scientology does. They need other people's body parts to modify their own to function properly. They take them from people they are attracted to. I'm sick. I'm dizzy. I've lost brain function. I don't feel very good. Icky and my neurons ain't functioning properly. You're breaking the law. That's petty.